ready because today we're going deep on something that may change how you see a certain breed.
Oh.
We're talking about Cane Corsos.
Okay.
You know, those really powerful, majestic dogs.
Yeah.
But we're not looking at them as guard dogs today.
Okay.
We're going to look at them as therapy dogs.
Interesting.
I know, right? It's a little different than you'd expect.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet a lot of listeners right now, maybe even you, are picturing this big Cane Corso, comforting and healing people.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what makes these dogs, special and how that translates to being a therapy dog.
Absolutely. So first of all, it's important to remember that not every Cane Corso is a perfect fit for therapy work.
Right.
Temperament is key.
Okay.
We're looking for dogs that are naturally calm and stable.
Yeah.
They got to be friendly to strangers.
Of course.
And tolerate being touched and handled a lot. And
Yeah.
this is crucial. They need to be able to stay focused even when it's distracting.
Oh, like in a busy hospital hallway.
Exactly.
Picture that.
Yeah. That calm confidence, but no aggression, that's what makes a Cane Corso really shine as a therapy dog.
Wow. I can already kind of see how their protective instincts could actually be used to make people feel safe and comfortable.
Exactly.
Like their protector side can be a good thing here.
And it shows how important both their nature and training are.
Right. It's got to be both.
Yeah, both nature and nurture play a huge role.
Okay, so let's get into the how-to.
Sure.
Our listeners love stuff they could actually use.
Right.
So where do we even begin with training a Cane Corso for this kind of work?
It all starts with really solid obedience training.
Okay.
Like basic commands, sit, stay, come, leave it. Those are the building blocks.
Foundation.
Exactly. And they're so important for control and safety in any therapy setting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And for a breed like the Cane Corso, with their protective instincts, socialization is extra vital.
Oh, I bet.
We're talking about exposing them in a good way, of course, to tons of different people, animals, sights, sounds, experiences.
So basically anything and everything they might see when they're working.
Yeah, the more comfortable they are with different stuff, the calmer and friendlier they'll be in new places.
So it's like helping them understand that all these new things aren't threats, it's just part of the world.
Exactly.
You're expanding their comfort zone.
You got it.
Okay, that makes sense. And on top of that foundation, we add some more specific techniques for therapy work.
Gotcha.
And one of the biggest ones is desensitization.
Can you break that down a bit? Like, what exactly is desensitization?
Sure. So let's say your Cane Corso is a little unsure about wheelchairs.
Okay, yeah.
Something they're going to see in a therapy setting.
Right.
Desensitization is about slowly and carefully introducing them to the wheelchair, starting far away where they're comfortable.
And then you bring it closer over time.
Exactly. Over several sessions, you slowly move it closer, always rewarding calm behavior with praise, treats, or a toy.
You're basically making them associate the wheelchair with good things.
Yeah, it becomes just a normal part of their world. That's really neat.
It's like teaching them a new way to interact with the world, all about being calm and accepting.
I like that.
And another important technique is touch training.
Makes sense, they'll be interacting with people who might want to pet them or touch them.
Exactly. In therapy work, people might want to pet them, stroke them, or even lean on them.
Right.
So we need to teach them not just to tolerate it, but to actually enjoy being touched by different people in different ways.
I bet that's especially important for Cane Corsos.
Yeah, because they can be pretty big.
Yeah, intimidating.
It's about making everyone involved feel safe and comfortable.
For sure. And then there's impulse control.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, for any dog, but even more for a large breed like a Cane Corso.
Absolutely. We do a lot of impulse control exercises, like waiting for food, not jumping on people, staying calm when things are exciting.
It's like teaching them to be the calm in the storm, even in a busy place.
Exactly.
Like a waiting room.
Yeah, they learn to use their energy to comfort people, not overwhelm them.
It's amazing how training can do that.
It really is.
Okay, so we've talked about the basics. Obedience and socialization, plus techniques like desensitization, touch training, and impulse control.
Yep.
Sounds like we're building a therapy dog superhero.
Well, it's not always easy.
Right. I bet there are some challenges specific to Cane Corsos.
Definitely.
One of the biggest is their size.
Of course, they're big dogs.
Yeah, and while that can be comforting for some, it can be a little scary for others.
Right.
So we spend a lot of time teaching them to be gentle and calm when they approach people.
It's like, turn down the guard dog, turn up the gentle giant.
Exactly.
Jokes.
Another challenge, and it's connected to those protective instincts, is teaching them what's a real threat and what's just normal interaction.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't want them mistaking a hug for something bad.
Exactly. It defeats the whole purpose.
That sounds like it takes some serious skill to teach.
It does. And then, because they're so strong, perfect leash manners and impulse control are non-negotiable.
Right. Got to be able to manage that strength. Absolutely.
Hmm.
We work hard on teaching them to walk calmly beside their handler, no pulling or lunging.
So it's not just training their minds, it's training their bodies too.
Exactly. They need physical control and awareness.
That makes sense.
And here's another thing. Cane Corsos are independent thinkers.
Oh, interesting.
They like to figure things out, which is great, but it means we need consistent training to keep them engaged during therapy sessions.
So they got to learn to stay focused on the task at hand.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And here's something else fascinating about Cane Corsos. They're super sensitive to their owner's emotions.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so the handler's calmness really matters for the dog's success.
It's like a chain reaction of calmness.
Exactly. The handler's calm, the dog's calm, and then that calmness spreads to the people they're helping.
But let's be real, all this training takes time.
Yeah.
Our listeners are probably wondering how long.
It depends on the dog and how consistent the training is.
Okay.
But generally, it takes several months to a year.
So it's a commitment.
Oh, yeah, it's not a quick fix.
That's good to know.
And remember, training never really ends, especially for a therapy dog.
So, it's ongoing.
Always got to maintain their skills, keep them stimulated, and make sure they're enjoying it.
It's not just getting certified and you're done.
Nope. It's a lifelong partnership.
That's beautiful.
Plus, a lot of therapy dog organizations want the dog to be at least a year old to be certified.
Which means early training and socialization are even more important.
Exactly. It sets them up for success from the beginning.
We've covered a lot so far.
Yeah, we have.
The ideal temperament, the training basics, specific techniques, those breed-specific challenges. We've also talked about how it's a long-term thing, not a quick fix.
It really is.
And it sounds like the handler plays a huge part in all this.
They do. They're not just holding the leash. They're partners.
That's a great point.
It's a team effort.
And I think that's a perfect place to stop.
Oh, okay.
We'll be back to talk more about the handler's role, like self-assessment and being emotionally ready.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned. And we're back, continuing our deep dive into Cane Corso therapy dog training.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the breed and the whole training process.
Right.
But now let's switch gears and focus on the handler.
Absolutely. The handler's role is just as important.
It really is a partnership.
It is.
So let's say someone's listening to this and thinking, hey, maybe I could try this with my Cane Corso.
Yeah.
What are the big things they should consider before jumping in?
Well, first off, gotta be honest with yourself about whether this is right for both you and your dog.
Okay.
Not every Cane Corso is meant for therapy work, and not every owner is either.
That's a good point.
It's a big decision.
Yeah,
Requires self-awareness.
from both the dog and the handler.
Yeah. So let's start with the dog.
Okay.
We talked about the ideal temperament, calm, stable, friendly, tolerant,
Right.
but it goes beyond that.
How so?
Can your dog handle being touched by strangers even when they're not feeling great? Can they stay focused in a busy hospital room with all the noise and stuff?
Right. It's different from being well-behaved at home.
Totally. And then for the handler, there's self-assessment too.
Yeah.
Can you handle interacting with people who are in pain or emotionally vulnerable?
Okay.
Can you stay calm and positive even when things are tough?
It's like the handler needs to be trained too.
Exactly. You need to be ready for the emotional side of this work.
And of course, the dog picks up on your energy.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important to be on the same page emotionally.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And that's where a professional trainer comes in.
Right.
Finding one with experience in therapy dog work is crucial.
So like a specialist.
Exactly. They can tell you if your dog's a good fit, help you create a training plan, support you along the way.
Like having a coach in your corner.
Exactly.
Okay, so we talked about specific techniques for the dogs.
Yeah.
But are there things handlers need to learn too?
Definitely handler training is just as important.
What kind of things?
Learning to read your dog's body language, understanding their stress signals.
Oh, so you know when they're getting overwhelmed.
Right. And you need to know how to speak up for your dog.
Advocate for them.
Exactly. Also, gotta be comfortable with basic handling, guiding your dog in different therapy situations.
It's like a dance. You're both in sync.
Exactly.
But what if someone goes through all this and it turns out their dog just isn't right for therapy work?
That's okay. There are other ways for a Cane Corso to shine.
Like what?
Maybe they're great at obedience, agility, scent work.
Right, or just being an awesome companion.
Exactly. It's not a failure, it's just finding the right path.
So focus on their strengths.
Yeah, and you might discover talents you never knew they had.
That's a good point.
You never know what they're capable of.
Before we move on, can we talk more about the handler's emotional preparedness?
Sure.
It can't be easy dealing with people going through tough times.
It's not, and self-care is so important for handlers.
What does that look like?
Having a support system, whether it's friends, family, a therapist,
Okay.
maybe even a support group for other handlers.
Got to take care of yourself first.
Exactly. You have to have your own coping mechanisms.
To avoid burnout.
Exactly. It's a real risk in this kind of work.
So it's more than just loving dogs.
It is. It's about emotional resilience.
Being able to handle those tough situations.
Exactly. And remember, therapy dog work is a privilege.
Yeah, right.
It's a chance to make a difference.
But it comes with responsibility.
Absolutely. And it's not just showing up with a cute dog.
Right. There's more to it.
Yeah, a higher standard of conduct.
You said earlier that not every place is right for every dog.
Oh, definitely.
Like you have to find the right fit.
Exactly. Do your research, visit places, talk to other handlers.
It's like finding a career path for your dog.
That's a great way to put it. And like any career, there will be challenges and rewards.
But it can be really enriching.
If you're committed and have the right dog and mindset,
Combining love for dogs with helping others.
it's a powerful thing.
And that's a perfect place to pause for now.
Okay.
We'll be back to talk about some really inspiring stories that show the impact these dogs can have.
Sounds good.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Cane Corso therapy dog training.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really has. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling super inspired by everything we've learned about these dogs.
Me too. It's amazing how they can go from powerful guard dogs to sources of comfort and healing.
Right. And for our listeners who might still be on the fence about whether this is the right path for them,
Yeah,
I think it's time to bring in some of that feel-good factor.
the feel-good factor.
Yeah, sometimes hearing stories about these dogs in action is all it takes to convince someone.
Ah, I see what you mean. Stories can really connect us to a topic.
Exactly. They make
Yeah.
it real, not just theory.
For sure. So you're thinking stories about Cane Corsos making a real difference.
Exactly. Do you have any that come to mind?
Oh, absolutely. I remember working with this Cane Corso named Rocco. Yeah, he was a big goofball at home, always getting into trouble.
Sounds like a typical Cane Corso. Ha.
But when he put on his therapy dog vest, it was like a switch flipped.
He knew it was time to work.
Exactly. He became this calm, focused professional.
I love that image. A therapy dog in a vest, ready for duty.
Rocco would visit a children's hospital every week.
Oh, that's sweet.
And you could see the stress just melt away from the kids' faces when they saw him.
I bet. They probably loved him.
They did. They'd read to him, tell him their secrets, just cuddle up with him.
There's something so special about that connection between a child and a dog.
It really is. And the nurses would tell me how Rocco's visits actually calmed the kids down before procedures.
Wow. So he was making a real difference.
He was. It was like he could sense their fear and replace it with peace.
That's amazing. It's proof of how powerful that human-animal bond is.
It really is. And I worked with another Cane Corso, Luna, who was partnered with a veteran with PTSD.
Oh, wow. That's a situation where the dog's sensitivity could be both a help and a challenge.
You're right. But Luna was incredibly intuitive. She just seemed to know when her handler was having a rough day.
What would she do?
She'd nudge him gently with her nose or rest her head on his lap.
Just being there for him?
Exactly. And sometimes that's all it takes, that silent support.
It can make all the difference.
It can. These stories show that these dogs are more than just pets. They're healers, companions.
Sometimes even lifesavers.
Exactly. And it's amazing how a breed that can seem intimidating can be so gentle and compassionate.
It really is. I bet our listeners are feeling inspired now.
I hope so.
So for anyone out there thinking about doing this with their Cane Corso,
Yeah.
what would you tell them?
I'd say do your research, talk to trainers, and trust your instincts.
Your gut feeling.
Exactly. If you feel like this might be right for you and your dog, take that first step.
What's the worst that could happen?
You might discover something amazing.
In your dog and in yourself.
Exactly. It's a journey of discovery and growth.
I love that. Well, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into Cane Corso therapy dog training.
Okay.
But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with a thought.
Okay, what is it?
If a breed known for protection can be trained to provide comfort and healing,
Yeah,
what does that tell us about the potential of all animals?
that's a great question. It makes you think about what else we could achieve with the right approach.
Patience and love.
Exactly. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep believing in that bond between humans and animals.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey.
It was my pleasure.
We hope you've learned something new, found some inspiration, maybe even discovered a new passion.
A hidden talent.
Until next time, keep those tails wagging.